Welcome back. Wishing all our viewers a very happy Republic Day. I'm Siddharth Talia. Now we're marking the 77th Republic Day, and India has showcased its defense might as well as Atmanirbharta with bold Operation Sindoor messaging during the parade as well. The Indian Air Force, leading the service for this year's parade, delivered a powerful flypast with frontline fighter jets flying under the call sign Sindur. Now, ever since India landed a hammer blow on Pakistan through Operation Sindoor, there have been many voices, even within our country, doubting the success of that operation and even the motive behind the operation. Many demanded answers from the Modi government on how many jets were shot down by Pakistan, but would not celebrate India's success on the battlefield. Today, a reality check has arrived for these doubters, not even from India, but all the way from Switzerland. A report by the Switzerland-based Center for Military History and Perspective Studies reveals how, by the third day itself, Pakistan and their armed forces were left completely crippled thanks to Operation Sindoor. The Swiss military think tank reveals that by the 10th of May, the Indian Air Force had achieved air superiority over large parts of Pakistan and was also in a position to continue airstrikes at will. In response, Pakistan lost the ability to repeat their operations from the 7th of May as their strikes were largely thwarted and the loss of their forward air surveillance systems further weakened them. Well, let me go across to my colleague Mohit Bhatt for more on this. Mohit, this is once again a vindication for the achievements that India recorded during Operation Sindoor. Serious damage inflicted on Pakistan's air prowess as well as their air bases in different parts of the country, which were reduced to rubble thanks to the precision strikes that the Indian Air Force managed to carry out.
Well, Siddharth, it's an open truth, and the proof of it is all over social media. And we also know that our Indian Army has also released various videos, various images, that how India had a precision strike when it comes to terror camps in Pakistan, and how Pakistan was begging and coerced for the ceasefire. They begged for ceasefire after 4 days when India hit Pakistan with the precision strikes. But as you rightly pointed out, this is also a message for all the doubters who were raising questions on Operation Sindoor, because this particular report has not come from any Indian agency or the defense organization related to India. It's a report, and I would like to read few pointers from it. From Center for Military History and Perspective Studies of Switzerland. It's a 47-page report which clearly says that Pakistan was effectively coerced into agreeing to a ceasefire after losing the ability to contest Indian air operations during 4-day conflict. It also says that how India clearly established decisive air superiority over Pakistan by executing deep strikes and inflicting significant damage that compelled Islamabad to seek a ceasefire within days in March last year. So clear in May last year, I beg your pardon. So it's a clear message to all those doubters who were, raising questions on valor or the skills of our Indian armed forces, specifically Indian Air Force, when the top bosses of the Indian forces clearly stated that India has hit out at the terror camps and it was precision strikes. Many of the terrorists were being killed, and the terror infrastructure, importantly, was demolished by Indian strikes, and hence this particular report comes out and it substantiates those facts. Now, we were not raising any questions on it, and I believe that 140 crore Indians were also not raising questions, but there is a certain lobby, an ecosystem, and certain politicians who were raising questions on it. They asked for the proof, and they were also saying that India also got hammered, and that was the word that has been used, how India's plane were also shot down, and they asked government to come out with the proof. Well, Indian government came out with the proof, our armed forces came out with the proof, and now we see that how a Switzerland-based think tank has also come out and clearly stated that India established air superiority within 3 to 4 days of Operation Sindoor. India hit in Islamabad, terror camps were demolished, and Pakistan was coerced for begging for the ceasefire. And it has also given Siddharth ammunition to the Bharatiya Janata Party. BJP says it's a strong slap on the face of doubters, because this particular report has not been released by any Indian agency. It has been released by Switzerland-based think tank, so you cannot come out and say that it's a biased report or we don't believe in, and hence BJP BJP says that
Absolutely.
now all those politicians, those political parties, and a certain ecosystem, a lobby which was raising questions, they need to come out and apologize.
We
Back
also
to
have
you.
Mr. Arasan Singh joining us. Mohit, do stay with us, but we also have Mr. Arasan Singh joining us for a perspective on this. Mr. Arasan Singh, this is of course a report that's been released by a Swiss think tank, but there was absolutely no dearth of evidence this time round to prove that India managed to achieve its strategic objectives during Operation Sindoor. Pictures were released, videos of our precision strikes were released, books have been written. So there's absolutely no scope whatsoever for any doubt as far as the success of the operation is concerned. Perhaps this Swiss military think tank report is a cherry on the cake for voluminous evidence already present of the success of Operation Sindoor.
Very unfortunate that we have detractors of India within India, and we need to some outside agency to vindicate what your armed forces have been saying. Well, you may not believe the political leadership, but do you think that any armed forces can exist in any formidable form without this quality of truthfulness? I doubt. And then you doubt your own armed forces. And now, yesterday I read that report, that Swiss report you were talking about. Somebody, in Switzerland has to vindicate that. I mean, it is so sad. And then I feel, this is what constitutes the third front, actually, in the country. People, who doubt their own armed forces, they don't believe in their own CDS, Army Chief, Air Force Chief, and Navy Chief. And then, they qualified by saying that, we are very proud of our armed forces. I don't think so.
Absolutely.
Are you batting? Are they batting for Pakistan? I suppose so. I suppose so. They are batting for Pakistan. They would be the happiest people if suppose hypothetically if we were not unsuccessful, they would be the happiest people. So I as a normal citizen, I'm so. I mean, this is such a big segment. It is not a small segment which is doing it.
Okay.
And yet, shame to those people, who stand by, these kind of detractors and vote for them.
Right, thanks,
Shame
Mr.
to them.
Arasan Singh. Why, I mean, in the wake of overwhelming evidence that's been presented by our armed forces about the success of Operation Sindoor, why continue to question the success of that particular operation? That's the pertinent question that Mr. Arasan Singh has asked, and we don't need any vindication from a third party about the success of the operation. Now, this particular report has come as a reality check for several doubters after the Congress's Rashid Alvi had questioned Operation Sindoor and the objectives that it had set out to achieve. The Bharatiya Janata Party has hit back while citing this think tank report released by a Swiss think tank.
Prime Minister and Home Minister, both of them has given a very specific statement before Operation Sindoor, घर में घुस के मारेंगे, चुन चुन के मारेंगे. You remember it? So, I have been asking whether Azhar Masood is alive or not. We are not talking about our intention of our government was not to kill the family of Azhar Masood. Our intention was to kill terrorists. I have been asking simple questions from the government. When you said chun chun ke marenge, ghar mein ghus ke marenge, Azhar Masood alive or not? Hafiz Saeed has been killed or not?
Swiss military think tank has come out with the facts that how the Indian Air Force, the Indian forces dominated in Operation Sindoor, and because of this Pakistan had to surrender and Pakistan had to beg for a ceasefire to India. How we not only negated every drone attack and attack by Pakistan, but actually established superior air dominance and hammered the Pakistanis not just along the border, but inside, deep inside Pakistan, terror camps and air bases, all of them were destroyed. But what do we hear? The Congress doubts the Sena, our Parakram. Sena ka karo apman, Pakistan ko bolo bhaijan. This has become Congress's pehchan. Today they must apologize to our Sainya Shakti.
Well, let me go back once again to Mohit Bhatt. Mohit, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the Congress party also reacts to the comments that are being made by Rashid Alvi, among others, because they're trying to basically nitpick. The evidence is overwhelming about the success of Operation Sindoor. Were terrorists killed or not? Of course they were. In fact, Maulana Masood Azhar, the chief of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, also lost members of his family, some of his relatives who were terrorists as well during that precision strike. So where's there any question of Operation Sindoor having failed to achieve its objectives?
Siddhant, also we need to understand that why there is a need for us to, come out and discuss about this, that a third party, another country is coming out with a report. They are substantiating our stand. Now, we need to believe our armed forces. Yes, you may have political differences with the Bharatiya Janata Party, but when it comes to Operation Sindoor, or it comes to internal or the external security of the country, we need to believe in our armed forces, and hence that should have been done by the opposition parties and a certain ecosystem, a certain lobby, which has always been doing this, be it the term of surgical strike, be it term of that how India hit back at Pakistan during the Balakot strike. So we need to understand that we need to have faith in our armed forces, because the politicians are not fighting these battles. It's our armed forces, valor of armed forces, that are taking all the risks and fighting. But then when this report has come up, now it has given ammunition to the BJP. As we are hearing the reactions coming in from the defense experts or Shahzad Poonawalla, they're also saying that it's a slap on the doubters, that they need to understand that they need to believe in our army. They should not ask such questions. Yes, you can have your queries, but then when it comes to internal security, you need to believe in your army, because as you rightly pointed out, many of the terrorists from Jaish-e-Mohammed, they have come out. Few days ago, another terrorist came out and said that how India has hit back, India has hit at the terror camps in Pakistan, and how many of the terror camps were destroyed. Many terrorists lost their life. So the proof is out in open. Why do we need a third country to substantiate?
Absolutely. Let me take that across to the BJP's Mr. Tuhin Sinha as well. Happy Republic Day to you, sir. We do see members of the opposition now continuing to question whether or not we actually managed to achieve our objectives during Operation Sindoor. The evidence of that success is overwhelming, sir, and yet certain doubters do persist, including the likes of Mr. Rashid Alvi. What's your message to them?
Well, very happy Republic Day to all your viewers. Well, we have known the truth about India's decisive success in Operation Sindoor from the 10th of May or the 11th of May. And we have always been consistent in our stance. 12 IAF air bases have been destroyed, 100 plus terrorists have been neutralized. Now, if the Congress party does not want to trust the Indian, we can't do anything about it. In fact, the Congress party barely 10 days after the ceasefire tried to convert a victory into surrender, with Rahul Gandhi unleashing the most vicious propaganda against India. So I think, they should feel embarrassed now, especially when they're being called out by their own leaders. Shashi Tharoor has been on record to say that the only place where he had a difference with his party was on account of their stand on Operation Sindoor, which basically implies that Congress's stand on Operation Sindoor was not in national interest, and Shashi Tharoor took a national stand.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Sinha, for that. We also have the BJP's RP Singh with us. Mr. RP Singh, why do we even need an endorsement from a Swiss think tank about the success of Operation Sindoor? Our own armed forces, the Indian Air Force chief, the army chief, everyone's come together and presented all that evidence on record before the country.
Not only our army chief and our forces, even the Pakistani leaders have said so on record. And their defense ministers, their other ministers have on record in parliament, outside parliament, in front of media. They have gone on record admitting that yes, India was much better army, and they destroyed the camps, and they were caught unaware So, but who will convince Congress party? I mean, they have agenda. They have an agenda which suits the foreign agencies in foreign countries. So they keep reiterating their agenda. And fact is that they don't admit this. I mean, leaders within the party appreciate the Operation Sindoor, but Congress leadership means Rahul Gandhi doesn't accept this, because he is following Soros' agenda.
Right. Thank you, Mr. R.P. Singh. We'll wait and see as to how the rest of the Congress party now responds to the kind of comments that have come from Rashid Alvi, among others. Now, India ushered in its 77th Republic Day with a grand... We'll come to this in just a short while. We also have the BJP's Mr. C.R. Kesavan with us. Mr. Kesavan, you've put out a fairly elaborate message on the social media just a short while back, criticizing the Congress party for continuing to doubt the success of Operation Sindoor.
Good morning. Happy Republic Day to you and your viewers. Operation Sindoor was one of India's, greatest military triumphs and success. But the Congress leadership and the India alliance, in the most unpatriotic way, and especially Rahul Gandhi, most reckless, unscrupulous manner, without a smidge of conscience, repeatedly defamed and maligned Operation Sindoor, even going on to say preposterously that it was a meek surrender. Imagine our brave defense personnel putting their lives on line, protecting our nation and people, and they call it a meek surrender. Several Congress leaders questioned and impugned the integrity of our brave armed forces, IndianAir Force, and attempting to undermine the credibility of Operation Sindoor. That's what the Congress party tried to do. And this report, which is coming from a completely independent military history strategic think tank, has conclusively called out the lies and false stories and the blatant bluffs peddled by the Congress party. So I think, being Republic today, you saw the tableau and saw the wonderful tribute we had in the parade to Operation Sindoor, and also the full prowess of the tri-forces of our nation. It made everybody proud. So today, being Republic Day, is the most appropriate day for somebody like Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party to tender a public apology, an unconditional apology to the country and people for indulging in perilous, dangerous propaganda against India's national interests. Rahul Gandhi, LOP, has become the leader of propaganda, and it's high time he and the Congress leadership, whether it is beginning from surgical strikes, later up to Balakot, airstrikes, they questioned the veracity. Here, when Operation Sindoor happened, they didn't believe the DGMO briefings. I mean, what do these people think? I mean, how this is the height of being unpatriotic, and the Congress leadership and Rahul Gandhi ought to apologize today to our nation and our people and our brave defense personnel for their very, very, very dangerous, perilous propaganda against Operation Sindoor. And the Congress party, I reiterate, completely failed in its duty and it completely had forsaken national interest for which they need to apologize.
We'll wait and see as to how they respond, not just to this latest report, but the very fact that the narrative that they've tried to float has been debunked on multiple occasions. Many thanks, Mr. Kesavan, for that. Now, India